Hey everyone, and welcome to Already Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Tara, and we are going to talk about the Twilight Zone. It's Season 2, Episode 8. It's called The Lateness of the Hour. So, full spoilers for the episode, as always. And before we get to the plot of the episode, we have to talk about the technical quality, because we mentioned last episode, or the last couple of episodes, that we knew we were coming up to the portion of 6 episodes that were filmed on videotape. And keep in mind that this is 1960. So videotape in 1960 is not even like VHS from the 80s quality yet. We're still kind of in this rudimentary era. It looks like shit. Let's just call it what it is. It looks like shit.
Yeah, it's pretty striking.
Oh,
Can't really.
I mean, I'm sure maybe in like 1960, as it was airing in black and white 1960 TV, maybe the difference wasn't as noticeable. But when you're watching it in 1080p, you know, you're watching the remastered versions, and every other episode looks like this like glorious filmmaking that's pristine. And then you get to this episode, and do you know what this looks like? It looks like a soap opera to me.
It really does.
Episode.
Yeah. And there's so many moments of silence where you're just like, I don't know. It really feels like something's missing, and like there should be some music or.
Well, Joe, what's so weird is that like after a minute of it, I was like, you know, I thought it was just that it was shot in videotape. The audio sounds worse as well, but maybe I'm just imagining that because you know the video's so bad that it's giving me this whole kind of shitty feeling. I don't
think so. But I think there's something off with the audio too.
No, there is, because the proof is at the end when Rod Serling steps back in at the end to like tell me, or not even the ending. It's when he steps in before the opening title, not. You know what I mean? When he steps,
the opening. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like when he steps out of the scene after the first couple of scenes, right, and he walks in to explain the episode. Like I was having trouble hearing him over the music. It's like the mix is worse than it normally is. It wasn't as clean. It sounds a bit messier, and I'm not sure why the audio is also worse. Maybe there's a reason for that, but the entire thing just feels much cheaper. And what's funny about it is the reason why they did this is because they thought it would be cheaper, and then but because of whatever factors at the time, it ended up not really saving them any money, so they went back to shooting on film. And it's so amazing the difference that this has made now when you watch this episode and like the previous episode. Just it looks.
It also doesn't help that this episode is just not very good.
I think, because I wonder part of the reason why it feels like it's the soap opera is that it's all shot in like one set from one side, as if it's on like a studio set. So it kind of has that feeling to it. We're all from one side, and like it felt like there was an echo as well in the audio. Like everything about it just felt really.
There's a lot working against this episode.
There's a lot. I don't hate the premise of the episode. I think the premise is fine.
Me either.
But
I mean, how early did you guess what the twist was going to be?
Oh, as soon as this, because so the premise. So I should explain what the premise is.
Sure.
So we're in like a big fancy mansion, posh house, and it's like an elderly couple and their adult daughter. The daughter being like 30, whatever she is, and she's getting a little bit frustrated because her mum and dad are so routine. Like they do everything at the exact same time, the exact same way, and she wants some excitement. She wants to do something different. You know, one of the first things she says is like, "Hey, why don't we have dinner a little earlier than normal, or even a little later?" And that's what's exciting to her, because they always do everything to the letter, the exact same time every night, and so on. And we find out, and it's not a secret to her or the characters, but we find out fairly quickly that the servants, the maid, the cook, the butler, whoever, they're all robots, or as Rod Serling puts it, robot.
Robots.
Right, they're all robots. And this also frustrates her because it's like everything's so contained, and her parents are kind of like hypochondriacs as well. Oh, we can't go outside, we might get hypothermia, we might, do this, do that. We can't go to a restaurant, dirty plates, all these things. And so that sets up the thing. But as soon as they start talking about them all being robots, I'm like, I wonder if the daughter's also, or I wonder if that's the twist.
Right? Big surprise. This whole episode
God.
was just like 20 minutes of frustration. Like, all right, just figure it out already.
And because the sad part is that there is actually like something here, because obviously, I mean, hell, even Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049 and anything else where there's a twist where someone might or might not be like the robot or the replicant or the Cylon or the pick another name from another sci-fi show. Android, there you go. The core idea is solid, right? And Rod Serling wrote this, and I wonder if the script. I'll be curious to see over the next few episodes with the videotape episodes. I'll be curious to see if those are also in similar styles of sets, and if maybe because Rod Serling wrote this episode, and I wonder if like he was basically told to write for this type of set, and that's why it's the way it is.
Right cheaply.
Right cheaply, yes. Like you're
right
allowed,
in a way that saves us money.
yeah, no locations.
No special effects.
So I wonder if that's maybe playing into it or whatever. I mean, I don't think it's a terrible episode. It's just really, it's predictable in the wrong ways, because predictable is not always bad. Like sometimes me and Connor talk about this a lot, where sometimes predictable is good because it just means they've set everything up properly so that you can feel a sense of what's coming. Right? Not everything's about surprising the audience.
Predictable is good when the episode or when the whatever the storytelling is wants you to know what's happening.
Yes.
Or what's going to happen, but this doesn't feel like that. This feels like the big reveal is something that we predicted miles ago, you know?
Yeah, so it's a little bit frustrating in that sense. And then the ending's kind of this dark little thing, because she should be, when she finds out she's not real and there's no photos of her as a little girl and she's demanding to know, like, what's going on. I'm one of them, aren't I? Like, and his dad's like, oh yes, we still love you like a daughter. You're still our daughter. Like, we still care about you. Basically, she shuts down or whatever because she can't handle this. So he just like reprograms her, and the ending is that she's the new maid giving the mum the massage, and it's like. And I do like the sort of dark part of that, because it's kind of like, as much as the dad was saying you're still our daughter and we still love you, I'm like, yeah, but you've reprogrammed her to be the maid, which basically just says that that's all bullshit.
Nope, that's not true. Yeah, right.
Which, by the way, I'm glad. I actually was surprised the daughter said something about this out loud, because I was thinking that the mum was sounding far too happy about those. Yeah, she was like, "Oh yes, right there, Deirdre. Oh yes, that's the thing."
I was blushing a little bit.
And then, because at one point the maid stops and she's like, "No, keep going. I want more." It's like, "Oh, that's the spot, right?"
I'm glad the daughter said something too, because I'm like, this feels like inappropriate.
Yeah. If I was her husband, I'd start to worry that she's getting a bit too into the maid. I mean, she's a bit too feelsy.
Yeah, and now his daughter's doing it, so gross.
Oh. So either Rod Serling's a really innocent boy who never really thought of all these weird like ancestral like elements, or he's a dirty boy who knew what he was doing and was sort of going, haha, I can get away with this.
We're 3 for 3 now with sex bots, so.
If we're counting the massage and the sex, and to be honest, the way she sounded when it was happening, I mean, not a mile off.
I mean, the way the noises that she was making, yes, I would count it as that.
Okay, so this is our third sex bot episode then. And hey, if your daughter bot doesn't work out as a daughter, then just turn it into your next sex bot. That's what the message of this was. Recycle.
Good message. Yeah, I didn't really like this episode very much. I mean, yeah, a lot of the frustration and the dislike came from just knowing where it was going, but also that on top of the footage being kind of awkward and the sound not being mixed very well, so all I could hear was the old lady moaning for like the first 5 minutes, and that was off-putting.
Actually, do you know what's weird about the episode is that I guess it's because they just took the entire like footage from the tape of the episode when they were remastering it, but I thought it was weird. It struck because you started watching it first and you said it looked quite bad. I was like, okay, we're at those videotape episodes. But when I started watching it and the opening title also looked kind of rough and soft, I'm like, why is this bad? Because you can just take this from one of the other episodes that's got...
Rod Serling is like just flying by those introductions now too. He seems to be just on double time. I don't know, speeding through them.
Yeah. He did show up at the end at least this time to...
I like the way he pops in. He popped in the beginning too, like just amongst all the other android mechanical workers wherever they are, when they're all like in a group together, and like you see them leave one at a time, and then Rod Serling's there to give us the intro.
Yeah, I mean the choreography of that was not bad. I agree. I think that this episode is a shame because there is potential in the idea and like the discovery of that she's not real, and then you could almost have like an Ex Machina, so in like a Twilight Zone in sense, like an Ex Machina style episode with her or something. But you know, Yeah.
We know there's potential there because we've seen these stories.
Yeah, we've seen tons of robot, becoming human or vice
I
versa.
can't help but think that people, even at the time when they were watching it, even though they haven't seen these types of stories yet, should have also just gotten it if they had watched season 1 of the Twilight Zone. It just seems like such an obvious way to go.
Yeah, well, like you say, it's the third time we've had like human robots as a pivotal plot element.
Sure. I mean, it would be either she was a bot or her parents were robots, and like this was all made up for her or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a small part of the start episode where it could have maybe went down a path where, before we found out about the robots, where I was like, oh, maybe this is going to be like the first episode again, or like some of the other ones where this is all in her head and it's like her own mind prison or something, and that's why.
Sure, she's like, someone has built this for her.
Yeah, like some weird thing like that. But as soon as they bring in the robots, you know exactly where it's going. And it'd be cool if it actually said something about this idea of like she unlike the other robots, she gains like real sentience because she has this urge to like do things that are exciting. She's not just satisfied doing the job.
She has a desire to go beyond her programming. But maybe she is just programmed to be rebellious.
I mean, maybe, but that could be the interesting thing that they really focus on in the story. But it never really does anything with it. I will say I did enjoy the scene where, in a moment of frustration, she tosses like one of the maids down the stairs, and we get this stunt woman tumbling all the way down the stairs.
It looked good.
But as soon as she gets up, as she's getting up, she's got this big grin on her face because it didn't hurt her because she's a robot, and it was like it was actually genuinely quite creepy. Like I was like, you know what, that was a cool little moment. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Good stunt woman too.
Oh yeah. If it was a woman,
it could have been a man in a wig.
Yeah, I mean, we're at
that before.
It's that kind of era, yeah. That's one of those weird things actually that's changed where like stunt women have complained that hey, like you're kind of taking our jobs by like ever doing that, and I'm like, you know what, you've actually kind of got a point. I never really thought anything of it because you've got a stuntman around, put a wig on him if he's like if he's the right build, go for it. But
sure.
But at the same time, I get it, yeah. Like, the stunt women actually want to have a career doing this, and there's, like, stunt men just
I think we went into
on.
this conversation in the first Transfers review we did, so
did we?
If you'd like to hear more, check out our bonus episode of Transfers 1, where there is clearly a man in a wig.
I remember this now. I knew it had come up at least once before. But yeah, so he does show up at the end. I don't really remember what he said about the next one. He went on a lot about the actor who's going to be in it. It was very vague.
I don't remember coming up next time.
Oh no, he did because I was looking for it because last time it was missing and it was really notable that it was missing. I wonder if the reason why it was missing was because they were changing formats. I'll be curious to see if at the end of the last.
They're probably just in an experimental phase, like Twilight Zone's in college right now and just trying things out.
Oh, maybe they'll try. Yeah. What else could you try, actually? I can't think of anything else to try. Because they clearly couldn't afford colour, because otherwise that would be the thing to try. Like one episode in colour or something.
Ooh.
But
that would be very bizarre for this show.
Well, I mean, luckily we have, like, like 3 other versions of the Twilight Zone that are all set in later eras that all have colour.
I mean, you say luckily. We haven't really watched those yet. Well, with the exception of the new ones.
Yeah. Well, people like the 80s one, I think. I'm sure people like the 80s one. I've heard people...
I like the movie. I don't know if I like the 80s one.
Okay. All right, we'll see.
I like Night Gallery, which is basically another Twilight Zone.
So yeah, the next one is called The Trouble with Templeton.
I like the title.
Bit of that alliteration. So a nostalgic actor.
Also like The Trouble with Tribbles or The Trouble with Edward.
So a nostalgic actor revisits his late wife and friends at their old haunt. Interesting word use. Only to find out that he is now out of place there. Okay.
Doesn't say much yet.
Wait a minute. His late wife. He revisits his late wife and friends. Like, so they're so she's dead. Okay. Are her friends also dead? Is he just going to this?
Maybe this is like a seance.
I think what it's actually saying is that he goes to this place that he used to go with his wife and their friends, but now he's going back on his own years later, and he doesn't fit in there anymore. I think that's what it's saying, but it's worded as if it sounds like he's actually going with some of these people.
It's Twilight Zone. Both of those could be right.
They could be. You're right. Yeah. So there you go. That's the trouble with Templeton next time. But that has been the lateness of the hour. nice premise, unfortunately unfulfilled in terms of its potential, and definitely a big mark against it is the quality, which unfortunately is going to be the case for the next like 5 episodes, I think. So hopefully,
let's see if any of these storylines in the next few episodes can, overcome its handicap.
Do you know what? Part of me hopes they don't, and the reason for this is because they all look like crap. Part of me hopes that it just happens to be that all the worst episodes are in the crappy looking section, and that means that all the episodes
because
I like,
they could be remastered, they would have been, right? They just can't. This is as best as they get.
Yeah, well, I think they technically did remaster them. This is as good as it got. Like, they can't go any further than this.
Also, I just want to mention before anyone else does, Trials and Tribulations. That's the third trouble with blank.
And Deep Space Nine. I'm aware of this. I know this because that episode is on. It's like an extra on the Blu-ray for season 2 of original series. You actually get that episode of Deep Space Nine.
Really? Did you watch it?
No, because I haven't. Because I don't want to watch a random episode. I want to watch Deep Space Nine in order.
Okay.
I want to do it properly all the way through. I'm looking forward to Deep Space Nine.
That episode was such an event. When it aired originally,
I saw some clips because there was like a making of because actually this is the weird thing is that Star Trek season 2 Blu-ray, like obviously you get like 4 or 5 episodes per disc normally of those seasons. Trouble with Tribbles has got a disc to itself because it has so many extras just for that episode that it gets a whole disc just for its own episode.
Yeah, it is a famous episode, but it's a classic for a reason.
Yep.
Star Trek rarely does comedy right, and this one it does it right.
Yeah. I will say this though, people who are hoping for more Babylon 5, I will say this, I will definitely be back at that before we get to Deep Space Nine, because I want to be able to compare the two, because I know that Deep Space Nine was kind of inspired by Babylon 5, and there was
From what I've seen of Babylon 5, yeah definitely. Even the villains have like the same name.
Interesting. Well, that won't be confusing at all. But anyway, that has been our Twilight Zone review, so we'll be back next time with Trouble with Templeton. So let's know what you thought of this one in the comments below. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mail_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the show, you can do that, of course, by rating the podcast on Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars and a little review. It helps more people find us. But, of course, financially, you can support us. Can't they, Tara?
Yes. If you enjoy what we do and you would like to see more content, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/MileFuzzTV, and donating as little as $1 per month will get you bonus episodes of other shows we do, including The Ace, which we mentioned already for Trancers. Donating $1, you could check out our review for Trancers, and we are doing the entire Trancers saga. So go check it out.
Yeah. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys, in the Twilight Zone.